So my sister had a baby last week, and she and her husband were so clear. They were like, no family in the delivery room except for us. And at the time, her mother-in-law like replied to that email and was like, even other mommies? And my sister basically told her, like, in the politest way possible, fuck all the way off, right? So my sister goes into labor, and the hospital where she's planning to give birth just happens to be the same one that her mother-in-law works at as a head nurse in like a totally different unit. On the day my sister goes into labor, her mother-in-law uses her badge and credentials to get into the labor and delivery unit, get into my sister's room, and start ordering around her care team, being like, oh, she's only 3.5 centimeters dilated, like, come back in an hour. And she was there for the birth. You guys, I waited like 2 days because I didn't want to like tarnish my sister's memory of the birth, but I sat her down and I was like, you need to go no contact with this woman. Like, she violated a clear boundary. And while you're at it, like, why did your husband not advocate for you? To me, that's instant divorce. Obviously, that wasn't exactly what she wanted to hear. Now, I'm not allowed to see my nephew, and her mother-in-law still is. Make it make sense. I have half a mind, honestly, to go on the hospital's website and report this woman, get her license revoked, get her arrested, because what she did is so unacceptable. But I don't know if I'd be way out of line to do that.
Emotional incest. Let's talk about it. Your mother-in-law is not supposed to treat you like you're the side chick that's trying to take her man away, or the mother of any partner, really. These are the moms that didn't get emotional fulfillment from their husbands, so then they put all of that on their sons. Once that son is grown, mother-in-law, partner's mother has a really hard time letting go. Sound familiar? Then you're engaging in this tug of war over your dude with his mom. It's gross.
One thing I cannot stand are toxic mother-in-laws, because toxic mother-in-laws will literally disrespect their daughter-in-laws, but yet still expect their daughter-in-law to show up for Christmas and Thanksgiving as if nothing happened. When I was in a toxic relationship, my ex's mother was so mean to me. She would cut me out of family photos. She would literally still talk to the ex, invite the ex to family gatherings, criticize me, belittle me, and do all these little things towards me, and still expected me to show up to Christmas and Thanksgiving with a smile on my face as if nothing happened. At the end of the day, me and my ex stopped going. And the reason we stopped going, not because we were being bitter, we were being spiteful, we were trying to be hurtful or something like that. At the end of the day, we stopped going because we felt uncomfortable. I felt uncomfortable, and I didn't want to be in an environment that made me feel uncomfortable, because at the end of the day, the holiday seasons are supposed to be happy memories, not painful memories. So when we stopped going, of course, his mother would blame me, because of course she can't blame the son. That's her pride and joy. She blames me. And it's always easier to blame somebody outside of the bloodline than inside of the bloodline. But I have to tell you something, toxic mother-in-laws. Stop blaming your daughter-in-law for not wanting to show up to the holidays. You know who you should be blaming? You should be blaming yourself for disrespecting your daughter-in-law so much.
Want to know the best part of having a super crazy toxic mother-in-law? It's her birthday. So obviously I don't participate in her birthday celebrations. So that means my husband picked up both kids from school and took them over to have dinner with his mother, and the gift and everything. And I get the entire house to myself on a school night, and don't have to make anybody dinner. So that's the best part of having a toxic mother-in-law. It does have its perks.
If I see one more person in my comment section say that I need to be grateful for a toxic mother-in-law because she gave me my husband, I'm gonna lose my marbles. You should be grateful for your mother-in-law, because without her, your husband wouldn't exist. That's your defense for toxic behavior? Biology? Could you even definitively tell me the difference between mitosis and meiosis? Because they're not suggesting caregiving, like she parented him for however many years and therefore I should be grateful. No, they're talking biology. Without her, he wouldn't exist, therefore I should be grateful. And I've seen it a ton of times in my comment section, so I suggest there's a lot of you watching this right now that's something you've been told before too. Like, people really struggle with mutual inclusivity and mutual exclusivity, hey? Just because someone's genetics line up with someone that you love very much doesn't mean that that person is kind to you. And it certainly doesn't excuse any toxic behavior. And if someone's ever said that to you, that shows the legitimacy of their argument, and I encourage you to say, this conversation's become unproductive, so I'm no longer going to be a part of it.
Mother-in-laws. Sorry, not sorry, but I got some shit to address today. Now, before I get into that, let me just first state, I'm going to try to do this as respectfully but directly as possible. I want to know what it is that makes y'all think that as a grown man, you still have number one priority in this man's life. Ma'am, you had this man for 18 years. Anything that you needed to do with this man should have been done during those 18 years. If you slacked off during those 18 years, what makes you think that you can come step up now and expect to have a number one role in this man's life? This man right here, this man, that's my man, okay? If you got a man at home, that's your man. Tend to your man. You should be number one in your household, just like I'm going to be number one in mine. I'm the queen. Period. Now, I will say this. Yes, you are due a certain amount of respect because you are his mother. You are the one that brought him in this world. Now, let's just keep it all the way real. You may not like me, but it ain't because of anything I lack to provide for your son or the way that I love him. It's because I don't bite my tongue. So let's just get to the facts here. You had this man in your care for 18 years. During those 18 years, he comes from a very damaged childhood. You know who deals with that today? I do. You know who still loves him every day? I do. You know whose life he's a priority in? Mine. So when you pop up, whenever you pop up, and think that you're going to take the number one role in front of me, that's out. Period. What I suggest is that you start joining forces with your daughter-in-laws. If that woman is loving that man correctly, and you can see that, give that woman her props. Because there's a lot of men that hold on to childhood trauma, and it's their spouse that now has to deal with it. Some which may have been caused by you. So instead of trying to make that woman uncomfortable or constantly battling with her about your role in this man's life, why don't you try having her back? Why don't you pull her to the side and let her know, hey, if you ever need me, I'm here for you. If he ever given you a problem, let me know. I'll get in his ass. You his mama, right? Come on now, mother-in-laws. Y'all got to understand these positions that we take, we've earned that. If you see that that man, like I said, is loved correctly, he's happy, you need to understand that this is a battle you will not win. Period.
These are things that in-laws have said to women. I asked God, what did I do so wrong to deserve you as a daughter-in-law? My mother-in-law once told me, you're the reason he's cheating on you. My mother-in-law said this, if he did that to you, you must have said something. At my own father's funeral, my father-in-law looked at me and said, so, when can we expect grandkids? When we told my mother-in-law that I was pregnant, she said, I'll celebrate when I see the paternity test. Thanks to you, my son will never amount to anything. My father-in-law told my husband, since she's not pregnant yet, there's still time to leave. Listen to this one. I just had my rainbow baby at 40 years old. When my mother-in-law came to visit the baby, she said, at least I had my kids the real way.
Some of y'all wondering why that lady don't like you. You wondering, why does my son's grandmother not like me? Why does my man's mom don't like me? Since I met her, I've been respectful. I came in her house respectful. I'm kind to her. I'm good to her son. I'm a great mother to her grandson. Why does this lady not like me? Let me tell you, she don't like you because you trying to show her son something different than what she raised him up in. You have expectations and standards for her son that she didn't never have for him. And she's offended with the fact that you trying to show her son a different life, a different way to do shit than she did. That's what it is. You have a lot of mothers out here who have raised their sons to be disabled. Got their sons out here still depending on them in their mid-20s, early 30s to fill out job applications, to help them pay their bills, to make all kinds of decisions. And they'll be walking around talking about, my son still need this. They love it. They love for their sons to be needy. So when they get a woman in their life that's like, oh, you know, I can help him do that, but more importantly, I'm going to tell him that he needs to learn it to do it himself, they can't stand that. It's like when I've seen some mothers talk about their daughters-in-law or their, you know, she got that house. She the one that won that house, got that man paying all them bills. She the one that's mad at their sons' women for having some damn expectations. But this is what'll really get you. A lot of times these women don't like you because you don't need them. They will like that ratchet baby's mother that is dependent on them, that they had to buy a crib for and everything. They will like her more than they will like the children's mothers that just need them to be a grandmother. I don't need you to help take care of my son. I just need you to be, they can't stand you because a lot of these mothers have a need to be needed, which is why they've disabled their children. They don't know what their life is without their sons calling and needing something from them, without them having to be able to say, I had to help my son do this. When you come in and now he's depending on you, or now you're his partner, they are offended by that. And if you are the type of woman that's like, oh no, I don't need you to do this. I never forget when I lived with my son's father, and his mother would literally try to call us every month, like, did y'all pay the electricity bill? Did y'all? Mind you, my mother ain't checked for me since I was 17, 18 years old. So I was like, whoa. I don't need you. Mind you, I was 35 when I had my son. So I'm literally like, I don't need you to remind me to pay my bills. We good. And because of that and other things, I'm telling you, I've never found favor with this woman. I had a baby shower, and I had 2 baby showers, one where I'm from and the second down here with his family. And when she saw all the things that my family gave me, she literally told me, I'm taking back everything I gave you. And she did. She took it all back. Why? Because it was like, oh, you don't need me. Where her other, they were much younger. They needed her in a different way than I did. And she's always resented me because I don't need her that way. And because of that, she also doesn't always treat my son that great or make him a priority or anything like that, because it's like, he got his mama. So let me tell you, some of these mothers, they're not going to like you unless you dumb yourself down, unless you act like you need them and you gonna just defer everything to them. But if you are your own woman and you out here living your life and you just truly need them to be a grandparent and that's it, you're gonna have some problems in these streets with them, with these type of mothers. Not all of them, but these type of narcissistic, needy mothers that raise their sons to be dependent on them.
Most mother-in-laws can cause problem in your son's family through her actions, by interfering, taking sides, overstepping boundaries, making negative comments towards her daughter-in-laws, and expecting so much from them. The-in-laws needs to stop competing with their daughter-in-laws, and her son, the husband, also needs to know when to put a stop to his mom and when to put her in her place. Like they say, do not let the family you come from destroy the family that comes from you. Interfering too much can create tension, it can create stress. Taking sides can make your daughter-in-law feel isolated. It can make her feel unappreciated. Overstepping boundaries can be overwhelming and invasive. Negative comments can cause resentment and toxic environment where she's trying to avoid you. She doesn't want to be around you because you never say anything good about her. Okay, so I think, I'm not saying your daughter-in-law would not want you to be there, but let her ask for it most of the times. Alright, it's okay for you to show your support once in a while, but do not try to act like the wife to your son. This is where the problem is coming from. I know, probably because your son is married to someone else and you feel, oh, this lady is trying to take your place. Sometimes it doesn't seem like that. If you take that woman close to you like a daughter, I mean, it's a win-win. Everyone wins. Everybody wins. So it's not a competition. It's not. So give your daughter-in-laws some breathing space. So we've come to the end of today's video. Like, subscribe, leave a comment in the comment section. Thank you. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.